New York's contentious governor's race has been marked by allegations of marital infidelities, fights with reporters, and now allegations of homophobia. Republican candidate Carl Paladino ignited the latest controversy over the weekend when he made comments about gays. Allison Harmelon has more.
Carl Paladino switched into damage control after his comments about gays threw New York politics into a tailspin.
The discrimination that they suffer is very, very difficult.
But those sympathetic words from New York's Republican candidate for governor have not stopped the controversy that began this weekend. Speaking at a Brooklyn synagogue, Paladino repeated his opposition to gay marriage, but went a step further.
I just think my children and your children will be much better off and much more successful getting married and raising a family. And I don't want them to be brainwashed into thinking that homosexuality is an equally valid or successful option. It isn't.
Paladino is backed by the Tea Party, but trails his Democratic opponent Andrew Cuomo. Cuomo's campaign was quick to jump on Paladino's gay comments, calling them stunning homophobia. But hitting the morning talk show circuit, Paladino said he's sensitive to the difficulties gay people face.
I have a nephew, and I have people working for me who are gay. Never had a problem with any of them, never had a problem in any sense of with their lifestyle.
Paladino's campaign has already been rocked by his admission to fathering a daughter during an extramarital affair. He's now facing a new fallout from his latest comments. Allison Harmelon, CBS News, New York.
And joining us now from Washington is James Hohmann, reporter for Politico. Thanks for being here with us, James.
Good morning.
So let's talk about the Paladino case, because he did try to do some damage control there, as you saw, but what sort of traction are you getting a sense that this story is having?
With less than a month to go until the election, you can't lose the day talking about issues like this. The story is getting a lot of traction. It's creating a lot of buzz in New York, but also nationally, and it makes Paladino look unelectable, and it hurts him. It's one in the latest as was mentioned, a string of problems that he's had. From the beginning, this was supposed to be a coronation of sorts for Andrew Cuomo. Cuomo was almost certain to win before this, and it makes it harder for a lot of independents to fall into Paladino's camp. What it also reminds us of is that a lot of these Tea Party candidates upset establishment Republican candidates in the primary by focusing on the fiscal issues, talking about health care and the debt and how the Republican Party had sold out. These social issues, like the homosexual issue, just did not come up in a lot of these primaries in a big way. Now, with just weeks to go before the general election, these issues are coming up, and they're helping Democrats frame the midterms as a choice between a Republican and a Democrat, rather than merely a referendum on Barack Obama.
So then what happens? You see like the Tea Party moving away from Paladino over these comments?
I don't know if the Tea Party will move away from him, but what you did see was a lot of very serious establishment Republicans either rebuking or distancing themselves from Paladino. It prevents him from getting more establishment support. It puts him on defense, and a lot of Republicans just aren't going to go enthusiastically campaign for him when he says things like that.
Okay, so speaking of the Tea Party, over the weekend, Sarah Palin came out with some bold talk about the 2012 election. She didn't say whether or not she would run as a candidate. So what can we make exactly of her speech?
What Palin said in Bakersfield, California was the first time she looked ahead to 2012. She's been saying over and over again that she's focused on these coming midterm elections. But what she said over the weekend was 2010 is about rejecting and repealing the Obama agenda, and 2012 will be about restoring and renewing America. So she positioned herself and set the groundwork for the messaging we could expect as she continues to tease Americans about whether or not she might run for president. Interestingly, it came just a few days after a private closed-door speech to some very prominent Republican donors and activists in Florida, in which she alluded to the case she would make to voters if she runs for president next year about why she's electable, saying that just as people now say about her, people said before 1980 that Ronald Reagan wasn't electable. The cold hard math, though, is this. A CBS News poll just recently out showed that Sarah Palin's approval rating is just 22%. Her negative is almost 50%. People just don't like Sarah Palin, but the people who do really, really like her.
Yeah, some rabid fans there. Now, the White House and Republicans have been in a little bit of a spat over exactly who is funding the midterm election campaigns. The White House, of course, says the Chamber of Commerce is using foreign donations to support GOP candidates, and Republicans are calling all of that a lie. What can you tell us exactly is the truth, or where does it lie here?
There's a difference and a distinction between disclosure and actually getting support from foreign entities. So the chamber has become a lightning rod, which the White House is excited about. They're trying to position themselves as more populist against the big business interests, and the chamber has been spending a lot of money in races around the country. The chamber says that they're not getting foreign money. The White House says we don't know because you're not disclosing. And so there's sort of a stalemate there. They're both technically saying things that have truth at the base of what they're saying, but that both allow for attacks back and forth. It's advantageous to the White House because it positions them against big business, but it also increases the chamber's profile and makes them a lightning rod when they'd sort of prefer to be behind the scenes, just influencing races by spending a lot of money on different ads around the country.
And I'm sure the voters are confused along the way, but it all gets sorted out in about 3 weeks from today. James Hohmann from Politico, thank you for joining us this morning.
Great to be with you.